is up, YouTube? You're watching The Truth Show with me, your host, The Truth. And today, bit of a video that's out there because I've never really done a video like this before, and it will be the first video I've made in this sort of realm. But I'm making a build video for the Division 2. Now, some of you might ask why you're doing this. Simply because I was struggling with this game for a long time. And I was struggling to dish out the damage. I couldn't go on to heroic. Every time I did, I was getting dropped like a bitch. And it was really getting to me. And that's when I discovered this build. Now, I've taken elements from other people's builds that I've seen, and I've sort of put them together to create my own build, which is something I would say to use. Take the basis of the builds and then create your own build, because not one build isn't going to work for everybody. Some people aren't going to like it. Some people are going to like to be more up close. Some people are going to like to have more survivability. Some people are going to like to be doing fuck tons of damage. Again, the build is specific to you. But if you're like me, you're running solo and you want to play on heroic and you want to do heroic missions and stuff like that, then this is the build, guys. And as you can see, I'm not bullshitting. I've not got really good expertise. Again, one of the problems I've noticed is that people making build videos, they're really high expertise. When you've got a really high expertise, if you're a player, you'll know what that means. It means you're doing a lot more damage than what is native to the gear pieces that you're using. So when people see that, they go, oh, that looks really good. And then they go and make the build and they're only like 2-3 expertise like me. The build just doesn't work for them. It's not doing nearly the same amount of damage that the person was on the video. And you're like, well, what the fuck? That's bullshit. This will work for you as it's worked for me. So without further ado, man, let's get into it. So this is basically the basis of a striker's battle gear build. I'm going to go through the gear pieces I'm using. I'm going to go through alternates if you haven't got those gear pieces. And I'm going to explain to you what the talents are, what speciality I'm using, and why I'm using that speciality. And then I'm going to put a little video at the end of me going up against heroic bounty missions, and you can see the damage that this build actually does, and I'm tearing through people. So without further ado, let's get into it. So when it comes to a striker battle gear build, obviously getting the gear pieces is going to be your first hurdle. Unless you've already got them, it's going to be a bit of a challenge, because you might, you're going to be thinking, oh, where can I get them? I've got to go to where the targeted gear is. Don't bother. Either go and do countdown missions in the refinery, and you can actively select your gear drop or your targeted gear in there, or you can do the ascent and you can actively select your targeted gear in there. So go to the countdown mission or the ascent, set your targeted gear to striker battle gear, and then just go in and run through it and get the gear that you need. Now, when it comes to the actual gear pieces, again, how you roll them is up to you. So as you can see on my build there, I've got a lot put into my survivability, so put into armor, simply because I like to have that survivability. I want to be able to survive, because even though you're doing damage, you're going to be getting damage, and on heroic, you will get melted, right? You can just get absolutely obliterated. There's been times where using this gear set, I've been absolutely obliterated, but I still think it's the best gear set. So for all round. So again, do what you want to do. If you want to roll damage, roll damage. If you want to roll survivability like me, roll survivability like me. The next point is your attributes, your core attributes and your secondary attributes. Now, like I said, your core attributes could be damage like you want, but your secondary attributes, I would say you want to roll like I have here. You want to roll them towards critical hit chance, critical hit damage. Reason being, if you use the gear pieces like I'm using, again, I'm going to show you alternates, you're going to want that critical hit damage and critical hit chance. But again, I'll get into it when we get there. So you're obviously going to want 4-piece. You're going to want 4-piece because that initiates the Striker's Gamble. And Striker's Gamble is very simple. Weapon hits increase total weapon damage by 0.65%. It stacks up to 100 times. So that means if you can get a full 100 Striker's Gamble by shooting at enemies, you're going to get 65% of your weapon damage on top of what you're currently doing, which is fucking shit hot. It's 1 stack lost per second between 0 and 50 stacks, 2 stacks lost per second between 50 and 100 stacks. But if you're hitting your target and you're shooting, that's not going to be a problem because you're going to keep that stack at the top. Now, 2 of the pieces have got extra talents on them. One of them is the backpack. And here's the backpack's extra talent. It's called Risk Management. It increases the total weapon damage gained per stack of Striker's Gamble from 0.65 to 0.90, which means if you then, using this backpack, manage to get 100 stacks, you're not just doing 65% plus damage, you're doing 90% plus damage on top of your weapon's base damage, which again is heavy. So when it comes to building a Striker's Battle Gear pack, I would say this backpack is a must have. You need the backpack just for that talent. As you can see, I'm running the gloves again because I want survivability. I've just got armor on it, but again, you roll whatever you want. I've got the knee pads. I'm rolling critical hit chance. I've got the holster. I'm rolling critical hit chance. And then I come to my other 2 pieces. Now, this is where I'm going to say you can have alternates. So, for my build, I'm running this Fenris Group chest piece because of 2 reasons. One, it gives me plus 10% assault rifle damage for having 1 piece on. It's got weapon damage, critical hit damage, weapon handling, and critical hit chance, which is something I want. But because of this talent, now if you can find a Fenris group that has those core attributes and secondary attributes already there, but it doesn't have obliterate, you can re-roll the skill to get the obliterate skill. But the reason I want the obliterate skill is critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds. It stacks up to 20 times. Now that's why I'm rolling a lot into critical hit chance and critical hit damage, because I want to be building that stack. And if you've got enough critical hit chance and critical hit damage, you're going to build that stack like within the first 2 seconds of your clip with your weapon hitting its targets. So that's why it's important. And so on top of my Striker Battle Gear bonus at 100% being 90% damage, I have that. When that gets to 100 on top, I'm doing 120% total weapon damage on top of what I'm doing. Again, fucking awesome. And if you can't get this, but you've got a Striker's Battle Gear chest piece, use the Striker's Battle Gear chest piece, because the Striker's Battle Gear chest piece also, like the backpack, has a secondary talent on it, and it's pretty awesome. It's called Press the Advantage. It increases the total max stacks for your Striker's Gamble from 100 to 200. Again, pretty fucking awesome. So you could be doing, let's say if I put this on, instead of me doing 90% total weapon damage, when I get to the 200 stacks, I'm doing 180 plus total weapon damage. Now, the only drawback to this is, unless you're fighting an armored enemy with a lot of health, or a large group of enemies with a lot of health and armor, the chances of you getting to 200 are slim. Chances are most enemies will die before you even get there. But again, if you don't have a Fenris group, or there's another piece of chest piece you want to use and you haven't got this, but there's another piece, then use it. Don't feel obligated to stick with this, but I'd say if you have the chest piece and not that, use the Striker's Battle Gear chest piece to take advantage of the Press the Advantage talent. Now, the mask, I'm using the Coyote's mask. And the reason I'm using it is, again, because I want a lot of critical hit damage and critical hit chance. So because of its native critical hit chance and critical hit damage, as you can see, and its weapon damage, and its core and secondary attributes, its talent is also something. So, Pack Instincts, you and all your allies gain a bonus based on the distance of the last enemy you hit. So, 0 to 15 meters, 25% critical hit damage. So you're getting an extra 25% damage. 15 to 25 meters, 10% critical hit chance damage and 10% critical hit chance. Awesome. At 25 plus meters, 25% critical hit chance. Again, all of that, if you're using the Obliterate talent, that's a must, because that's really going to help you a lot. If you haven't got the Coyote mask, again, what I would go with is a Fenris group, simply because it's got 2 secondary attributes and 1 core talent, and you can put a gear piece on it. So you could essentially have that, but on a Fenris group without the talent. So again, Fenris group is good, but if you've got a Striker's Battle Gear mask, you can use a Striker's Battle Gear mask. That'll help you out a lot. But again, the build is what you want it to be, how you want to set it up. You set it up with any 4 Striker Battle Gear you want around something else. So that's awesome. There is another little twist I like to put on this build. So one of my twists is, instead of using that, I will use a Striker's Battle Gear chest piece, but then I'll take the knee pads out. Now, this is for people who've got this piece, simply because I know that these knee pads were part of a holiday giveaway sort of thing, and you could only get them at a specific time. And I'm not 100% sure, but I've heard that you can no longer get them. So it's only the people who have them will be able to use them. So if you haven't got them and they were available to be got, then you won't be able to use them. But for those of you who do have it, I use these, the Turmoil knee pads. 2 reasons. It's basic brand set bonus is 1, it gives critical hit chance. It's rolled into critical hit chance and critical hit damage with weapon damage on top, and its talent, Bewildered. When dealing weapon damage to an enemy, 50% of that damage will be dealt to another enemy within 30 meters instead. When there are no enemies nearby, deal damage normally. This is hilarious, right? If you're using it with the plus 200% battle gear bonus, when you get into a room full of enemies and you're building that stack up and you're shooting one guy and you're just seeing numbers all over the room because the damage you're dealing to that one enemy is just bleeding into everyone else, it's freaking hilarious. You can clear out rooms of enemies easy as fuck, mate. It's funny. It's really good. But the thing about it is, you need to be doing high damage. If you put this on with a low damage build, you're not going to be dealing enough damage to kill anyone, and it's just going to be basically a detriment to you. So only use this if you're hitting high amounts of damage. But they're funny as fuck, like I said. So if you want to use them, use them. I'm just going to reset this now. Fenris group, there it is. Right. Weapons. Now, I like assault rifles. What I'm using for this build is the St. Elmo's engine. Again, there's a couple of reasons. 1, it's clip size. You're going to want something that's got a big clip size so that you're not constantly reloading, because you've got to remember, every time you stop firing, your striker's gamble will start going down. So having something that's got a long reload animation, again, could be a detriment to you. its mag and its fire rate. So it fires extremely quickly, but it also has a bonus, which is its talent. Actum EST. Shooting an enemy with this weapon will give you 1 stack. At 100 stacks, the next magazine will be 100% filled with shock ammo. That's really good, because it means when you've hit enough enemies and you shoot guys, you could stun lock an enemy and then build up stack off that one enemy. So it's pretty fucking awesome. But if you're not using the St. Elmo's engine, you could theoretically use the Eagle Bearer or any other assault rifle. So I'm really fond. It's not in my gear right now, but I'm really fond of the Honey Badger, which is pretty good. Or the Mechanical Animal is another good one. Plus, that gives you, the Mechanical Animal gives you like skill stacks for every kill. So that could be really helpful if you're wanting to use skills alongside it. But I digress. My secondary weapon, um, I would say I prefer the Emmeline's Guard, simply again because of its fire rate. It's not really a great clip size, but its talent, perfect preservation, killing an enemy repairs 15% armor over 5 seconds. Headshot kills improve the repair by an additional 15%. So you could be getting 30% armor repaired over 5 seconds if you're getting headshot kills, which is really good. It helps, again, it helps with your survivability. But again, you can use whatever you want. So an LMG, a shotgun. I regularly pair my St. Elmo's engine with a baker's dozen, build up the striker stacks, and then switch to my baker's dozen and start hitting like 2.5 million damage for body shots. It's fucking epic as shit. So yeah, you again, build it how you want, use what weapons you want, but the basis of the build is the Striker's Battle Gear 4-piece. Now, the specialization I'm using is Gunner, and one of the reasons I'm using the Gunner specialization is it's got one native skill that's basically for every kill you get, you will get 10% of your armor back. So again, it's about survivability. Every time I kill someone, 10% of my armor is returned to me, and so on and so forth. So if I'm going through groups of enemy really quickly, they're shooting my armor down, but I'm killing them fast, my armor will just constantly keep repairing, which is good. Skills. Now, again, this is a personal preference. I would say if you're like me and you're going for survivability, using the Crusader shield, I think it is. Yeah, using the Crusader shield simply because when you pull the shield out, you can put your assault rifle out and you can walk with the shield. This is going to give you survivability. But that's the only skill I'd say use. Use whatever other skill you want. The only reason I've got another skill on is I'm increasing its expertise. But use whatever skill you want. Maybe go with a healer drone, or maybe the healer hive, the repair, yeah, the restorer hive, or even the reviver hive. If you ever get down, the reviver hive will just pick you up. So all good, but again, roll it the way you want to roll it. So that's the end of the build video, guys. You've got the basis is your striker battle gear, and you can mix and match it how you want it, and just try and find that sort of balance that works for you. But this is really a powerful build. Now, I'm going to tell you why I think it's a powerful build. As you can see, my primary weapon damage, which is my Elmo's engine, is only doing 86,000. But with it set up the way I've got it set up, with me Striker's Battle Gear, me Acosta's Mask, and me Obliterate Talent, it is not 85,000. I can hit upwards of 500. I think the highest I've got with it is about 820,000 damage in a single bullet, which is fucking insane. Right, I'm ripping through enemies on heroic, and it's this build that's allowed me to jump my game up to heroic and play heroic solo, doing heroic missions, doing heroic I can't remember what they're called, but you get the point. Doing all the heroic stuff. So yeah, if this build helps, if this helps in anyone in any way, it's my first build video, so you know it's probably going to be my only build video. But I thought I needed to share it. Let me know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put, as proof of concept, I'm going to put footage at the end of this of me taking on a heroic bounty and just ripping through them. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.
That's the target, Agent. Incoming backup request. Hostile explosive seed. Got the target. Target spotted. Target neutralized. Target. Nice. Looks like you earned yourself another bounty. Well done.